Welcome to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard. Thank you for returning for another segment. In this segment, going to have a conversation with Tzvia Bader. She's co-founder and CEO of TrialJectory, and she's going to talk about this first-of-its-kind AI-powered platform that uses self-reported data to match cancer patients with clinical trials. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me, Neil.
Now, you're the CEO and co-founder of TrialJectory. What is TrialJectory? After you give us a little bit of your background, are you a healthcare professional that turned entrepreneur? What is your background?
I'm a techie, an entrepreneur by nature, and always been in the tech industry all my life.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What was it that caused you to start TrialJectory?
So 6 years ago, I got diagnosed with cancer. Something that happens to so many millions of Americans every year. It's not the best of news, but it's become more and more common, unfortunately. And when I started my journey as a patient, I was shocked to see how little tools exist to actually help patients navigate through their journey. I was really surprised to see how many options and treatment are available out there for patients. On the one hand, there is no easy tools to actually access those and find what's right for you. And as someone who's been implementing tools, smart tools in the industry, in the banking industry, insurance industry, as part of this digital revolution, I realized that actually the most important journey of our life, our journey for health, is the one that is lacking smart tools, and hence TrialJectory.
Now, when you say these tools for finding all these different treatment options, you say you were shocked to find out that there were way more options than what you were being told by your healthcare provider or those who initially diagnosed you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. As soon as I started drilling down and starting to see what are my options, because when I got the diagnosis, I didn't get many options by my oncologist, and I don't blame him for it. I don't think anyone can cope up and keep up to date with so many options that they have today. And it's not just the volume of options, it's also the complexity of the match, because there's so many attributes that are taken into account. No more just indication and stage of the disease, but actually biomarker, genetic mutation, treatment history, side effect, overall health. So there's a lot of complexity in the matching process in addition to the volume. So there's no way we can expect our one physician to know it all. And when I started digging in, I definitely saw many more options, but they were just not accessible to me or to him. And when you think about it, when we go shopping for anything these days, we do compare, we do look around, we do shop for options. That is something we need to be able to do for our health, and we need to be able to do it simply enough and intuitively enough.
Well, when you're talking about the not only the amount of different options, but the complexity of these options based on what the patient is actually going through, how does the patient, after such a devastating diagnosis in many cases, how do we sit down and navigate through all of this information to pinpoint the right treatment or trial for me? How does TrialJectory, how does the platform work to cipher through that information?
So that's exactly what we're solving and easing up on the patient. What we're doing is we were able to build an AI solution that, if you would like, mimic the mind of an oncologist in terms of being able to read treatment protocol. So we build a machine learning that goes through FDA database and NCI database and read through those treatment protocol, understand them, extract from them an understanding of who's the ideal patient for it, meaning extract all the different eligibility criteria, whether they're explicit or unexplicit, identify there. And then what we go through, and all of this is done automatically using our proprietary unsupervised NLP capability. We cluster it, we standardize it, and then we have a very clear database of different treatment options with different patient candidate in terms of medical profile. We then need to have the patient medical profile matched to them. That's the second phase. So what we let patient do is basically, as soon as the patient gets to our platform, they go through what is called a dynamic questionnaire, meaning we ask them a set of questions about his disease, but no one patient will get the same question as another, because the questionnaire changes based on your input. your stage, if you had a biopsy done, not. Do you have a specific mutation? You don't. So the set of questions change, and those are being correlated to a language that a patient is familiar with. As soon as a patient answers those questions, and on average it takes 5 to 6 minutes, we can then present him with the relevant treatment option for him that he meets the eligibility criteria. That's the beauty of the system. In 5 minutes, you're able to see your option, and then we basically let you sort it out. You can filter by location. You can filter by stage of the trial, by phase of the trial, whether it's observational, interventional, blinded or not. So different parameters that are important to patient. How is it the treatment is given, oral or IV. But all of that is being done only on a preset of trials that you meet the eligibility criteria. And then a patient can share it with his oncologist. He can review it. He can ask for more details. We help him better understand it. And instead of asking what's out there for me, actually have a decision. Those are your options. Now decide which one you want to start with.
Now, is this something that you recommend that a patient get information and they go back to their physician with what they found? Or is this something that the physician and the patient work together on with this platform from the outset of the diagnosis, once the healthcare provider is aware of TrialJectory?
I think both options are valid, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to say we want to remove all the friction and the barriers. So patients who can go and do it by themselves, when they're in the waiting room waiting to meet with their doctors, or when they're at home and they want to prepare to meeting their physician, they can do it and then share the information with their physician and have this discussion. Other that has more difficulty doing it, or physician that want to take part and has the time to take part in actually building the profile, or have an RN or clinical trials coordinator that can do it with or for the patient, absolutely. The idea is to remove the barrier and for everyone to have a very simple tool to use and help them share the dialogue. I think there was a survey done among community oncologists recently, and they basically identify as their number one barrier accessibility to trials. That's right now their most concern. And when you look at it, this is exactly what we're solving today.
Now, when it comes to these trials, does this app or this AI take into consideration the credentials of the trial makers? Should they have conducted many trials? Will they offer a trial, this is the first of its kind?
So it's a very good point. And one of the things that we're now training our engine to do is actually rate and give you more information around it. Exactly the type of things you say, both on the provider side, but also about the actual treatment itself, whether it's a drug that was already tested successfully for other indication and now being moved as standalone that's now tried in combo. So, for example, we're now giving higher rating to combo as it seemed to prove a better result than a single treatment. So we're starting now to add more and more input into the rating. It's to help and ease the decision-making process.
What about treatments for certain types of cancers that may be considered a bit non-traditional? What about those types of treatments or trials as some of these non-traditional treatments become approved by some of the approving entities around the world?
So we are planning to get there. So we're planning to basically make it the tools and the platform that ease up and give answer to any type of indication. But it takes time, obviously. We train the machine indication by indication, as every cancer type is completely different and act differently and have different pathology. So our plan is to be able to provide that going forward. And as you mentioned, it's the platform in 5 years from now will provide you not just clinical trial, which is the first step and now the most recommended treatment for cancer patients, but also approved drugs because we know they're being tested for a specific profile of a patient, and an orphan drug that have the same characteristics in terms of patient medical profile. So the idea is exactly that any medical profile of a patient, we will be able to match to all the different alternatives that is out there. Whether it's more of a rare type of cancer or more of the common one.
Where can our listeners go online and get some more information about TrialJectory?
Just go to www.trialjectory.com. and let us know if there's anything we can help you with.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Been a pleasure talking with you, Tzvia Bader.
Thank you, Neil.
You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard. Audio copies of this program are available at hpr.fm and healthprofessionalradio.com.au. You can also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, listen in, download at SoundCloud, and be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/healthprofessionalradio.